Safety meeting to order. Okay, so we'll stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Kim? Commissioner LaHaye?
Here.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Here.
Commissioner Kozlowski?
Here.
Commissioner Bray? Here. Okay, motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion. I'll support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, any public comment? Got 3 minutes.
Get those people online because they'll let you know.
Does it look like there's anybody online that wants to? Nope. Okay. Okay. All right, then we'll start with Janelle.
And I apologize for the lateness of this. I had intended to send it earlier. Did you get it late this afternoon? That was completely my fault, not your office at all. We had revenue in the amount of $46,296.50, expenditures of $49,216.86, and then we returned $150,000 to the sheriff's office, leaving us the cash balance of $62,465.45, which is a little lower than I know we're comfortable with. But again, I'm due about $100,000 in revenue from the state for reimbursements. So it looks low, but I think hopefully the reimbursements come in time. There has been talk on my JO group about working with the state to come up with some sort of stable schedule for reimbursements because nobody really knows. 1 month they come, 3 weeks later, the next month it takes 3 months to get that reimbursement back. So it's not just us, it's every county in the state. And we're gonna try and work on it.
You're the boss.
I'm trying.
You know what? Oh,
Any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The blended funding, the 150,000, which one of your budgets is that from?
292.
292. Okay, and then just, and vaguely, I had a conversation, I think, with somebody, so if I'm wrong on this, I apologize. That blended funding, was that left out of our 26 budget? Do we have to make that adjustment beginning of next year?
That would be a question for Sheriff Smith. I know it's in my budget. I put it in. I don't believe mine was,
Okay,
what I put into BSNA, I don't think was
okay.
changed is the word I'm looking for. I have no idea why I couldn't come up with that. But I think my numbers remain the same and I put it in accurately in BSNA this year. So as long as Sheriff Smith did at his end as well,
Okay,
it should be just fine.
perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay. I'll look for a motion to receive and file the.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Andy. Update.
Thank you for having me. So the first question on there was operations, where we at? I didn't bring you any numbers today. I had a great meeting with Jesse on December 5th. And we talked about we're going to be bringing them quarterly. So in January, I'll be bringing you numbers of what we did all of last year. And then every 3 months, I will report where we at on ambulance calls, volume and everything else. Also in January, also in that meeting, we talked about ambulance restocking fees, supplies and drug boxes. And I will be bringing you that twice per year. So bring you that, bills due in January and again in August. Last time Chief Edmonds did it was in June. So this one coming in January, it'll be actually for 7 months. But we have a plan in place. That makes sense. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome. So I am here today to talk about 2026 ambulance fee schedules. We also talked about that on that December 5th meeting. You want me to read the whole thing?
I'm not really.
Okay. I mean, I
Don't anybody else?
questions. So just to give you how this document comes together, every year we get with our biller, Barb is the gal I talk from Mobile Health Resource, and I ask her, where are we at with billing rates and where we should go? Last year, very little increase, that Chief Edmonds. This year, she said, we're falling behind. We need to go to the 5%. And it's really, if we don't increase it, we're giving more money to the insurance companies. So we're just trying to make sure we're billing to the maximal amount. Next year, we may not have to raise it. She says we're still equal to or low, and that's why she recommended 5%. This is not me telling, I mean, yes, I'm telling you, but I get these numbers from her.
So a rate is you take your part and then the insurance company,
So Blue Cross Blue Shields, if they say for an ambulance transport, an ALS, advanced life support, they say
Right.
they will allow $1,000, right?
right?
If we don't go up to that $1,000, we're just giving that money back to the, we're not billing it. And the insurance company's not paying it out to us or anybody else. So we're just
Okay.
trying to stay where
I
the
get it.
allowable amount is, just like any doctor's appointment or doctor's office does, they're always raising it. And we're gonna come here once a year. Chief Edmonds came here November 17th of 2024. I'll come back every year if it needs to be raised.
Okay,
We're also following the contract of the intergovernmental ambulance ambulance contract for the county.
okay. I get it.
These highlighted ones, they're the only changes?
Yep. These are the ones.
The rest of them will stay the same?
Yep.
So I was just gonna ask about that, because I was going back, looking at the previous, each year that, the ones that have raised.
Mhm.
Could you send the entire list? And I don't know how big the entire list is.
I may.
That's the whole thing? Because like last year or whatever it was,
I think that's what you're looking for.
24, it was like 3 items
Yep.
changed.
Yep.
And then last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things
Yep.
changed.
So you can see it like our intercept
Yeah.
fees, we haven't raised. We haven't raised the standby for ambulance fees.
What is SCT?
That's MICU,
What?
mobile intensive care
Did you
unit.
say?
MICU. MICU, mobile intensive care unit. John, number of the patients that we used to take out of town, we haven't got rid of it, but we really don't do those anymore. Remember when we used to take interfacility transfers?
Okay,
We haven't got rid of it. You're more than welcome to keep that.
okay, thanks.
So we have to approve it? Is that need to?
Is it
Well, we-
informational?
Yeah, because it's below the 5%.
That's what, yes, that's what in your letter.
So I did have a
Okay.
conversation. So let me ask you this. So what was it last year or was it the year before? Maybe it was 23.
I think I have it here. Keep that in.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it was 2023. So in 23, the basic life support granted, it was only 5.2%. The ambulance standby went up 25% from 100 to 125 for profit events. So I was just talking to Jesse about this prior to the meeting. The contract says that we bring it to the board, or you bring it to the county. And I can't remember the language, but so if we have something like, what if we didn't agree with the 25% increase for the ambulance standby? How, what,
I don't
Happens
think
on-
I don't think that's in the county contract, ambulance standby. I think that's something that the city does on their own.
well, and I was just using that one as an example. So say next year you decide, because I read the contract a few times to try to figure out,
Yep.
let's say next year you say the BLS,
Yep.
emergent and non-emergent, you raise it 9.3%. So obviously, because it's above the 5%, it comes back here.
Yep.
So then what?
I asked for permission to raise it to the 9%.
It doesn't clarify what happens if we don't think that's reasonable or whatever, then what? Do you,
My understanding, what we would do, and again, I'm new to this position, correct? I'd come and ask you folks here that, hey, the rates have increased 9%. Our biller from MHR is advising us to do this. I asked for permission from you folks first. If you say, no way, you can go to the 5%, but we're not going anymore. Then again, if you guys won't allow it, you stop it there. It's the end of the story. We'll have less collection. Again, and then if you guys approve it here, I'm assuming you would take it to the full board.
yeah,
I mean, it's not coming out of your pocket. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield. These are the fees. We don't set these. Barb doesn't set these are what they're saying. And it's no different when you go to a doctor's appointment that they say, hey, that doctor's appointment used to collect, $100. You see it on your bills for dental. I see it all the time. What they will accept and what your insurance will pay. We're just trying to stay with that. And that, if we continue to raise it like we're doing, we were really light last year, but that all came from Barb. These aren't numbers I pick out of the sky. These aren't numbers that she picks. She says, here's where you need to be.
Well, I know like the advanced life support one last year
Yep.
increased 5 cents,
Yeah, very little.
which is ridiculous. I mean, 0.007%.
I saw that. I was very surprised myself.
I mean, it's almost like,
Why?
yeah,
I won't bring you that, okay?
okay. Okay, wait a minute, I gotta make a note here.
You got a date.
Yeah,
Good questions.
Okay. So we just receive and file this. I need a motion to receive and file the report.
I'll make the motion. I'll support it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Andy.
Any other questions on anything? I mean, Jesse and I had a great meeting. Discussed a lot of different things. I think we're on the same page. And again, I'll also add this. I told Jesse, at some time, I would like to invite the county commissioners. I know you can only have one at a time, maybe one county commissioner, one city council member together down to our station. I'd like you there preferably at like 7 a.m. to see what we do and spend maybe the morning or, a couple hours. Maybe even go on a call. I want to open the station for that for you folks. I think it'd be a really good value to see what you are getting for your, the contract that you have.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Congratulations, Andy.
thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, John,
what? Okay.
MIDC board member?
So I was going through last year's, it was like 7 months ago, it's been a while. And apparently I said I was gonna do something that I didn't do. And I was hoping that Bill was gonna be here, Bill Pfeiffer, because I needed to talk to him and I haven't had a chance to get with him, but and more so that this is a reminder to myself and then you guys that I'm supposed to be working on this MIDC board members. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Wanted to bring it to your attention that I dropped the ball and I'm
Okay,
back on it.
okay. So all of this is just like board members, it's not,
So MIDC, from a conversation that I had with, I think it was Judge Black, there's an MIDC board.
that's the
people-
indigent defense.
Yeah, Michigan Indigent Defense Council, there's a board that I believe oversees our Michigan Indigent Defense Council. But so we have our own board and they're not our own board, but there's a board for that. And the board is made up and I don't know, is anybody out there that knows anything about that? The board? What do you know?
They oversee all of that money.
Well, but
Big board,
it is?
my understanding.
So I know that it's made up of lawyers and some other people. But it was suggested to me that we look into having another, like a commissioner appointed to that board. And I just wanted to get with Bill and find out more about that board. So
Okay,
like I said, I'm admitting that I dropped the ball and then I'm working on it. And I just brought it to Kim's attention to put it on this as a reminder for me and for you guys, because then you can at a later date say, hey, what'd you find out about this? So I'll be working on that as well.
okay.
Julie McDonald is who I would point you in the direction of.
You have her contact information?
No, but if you're around the mile, I can stop there.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Sounds good. Central Dispatch, Kim's, oh, no, you're not Kim.
I
Sorry,
am not Kim, no.
you already.
She's on a much deserved vacation, so you get my ugly mug instead. But at least from Central Dispatch, we're pretty much status quo. We have our new hire. He's about 3/4 of the way through training. He's well on track to be done in the middle of February. just like he should be. And we did a code red meeting today over at the senior center. I was there for about 2 hours and I signed up just under 20 of the local community for that. So I had a good discussion with them. We had a vendor come visit for our radio install that Kim did the carryover money for 2026 on. Our current vendor, Telerad. So we had a more local vendor from Gaylord Procom come over and do a tour. So they're going to work up what it might cost. So we'll see if we can save ourselves a few bucks by switching vendors on this radio install for us. Also in December, we're tracking, we have a backup phone line that we have per se. It's an old, basically copper line. If you think it's an old one still tied into the wall, just in case all of our phone systems go down. We receive dozens of scam calls on it every day, but we have to answer it nonetheless, just in case somebody's actually trying to call us and it gets routed to that. So we're trying to keep statistics on how many of those calls are coming in that are scam calls, because whether they're real or not, it's still taking time out of our day having to answer them.
Are they all scam? Spam?
I mean, very rarely do we get an actual person that needs help, but it does happen, so we still have to answer it nonetheless. And ballparking, I mean, we've taken like 20 to 25 scam calls every day on that line.
Okay.
We've tried to work with IT to see if we could mitigate the amount of scam calls that come on it, but since they kind of spoof real phone numbers around here, we don't want to block real people's phone numbers in case they're trying to use the number. So we just answer them. So we're going to try to see how many on average we're getting per day over the month of December. So that way we can try to establish a baseline for how many that we're doing.
Sounds good. Any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, any motions that follow, receive and file?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in
Thanks,
favor? Aye. Thanks, Lori. Okay, emergency management.
All right, been here for a month and a half now, so been working on some stuff. Once again, congratulations to Chief Marceau. It's really awesome. He's even a better person than everybody knows Andy. He's a great human being. As I went around to all the emergency partners, introduced myself as EM. Most of them already knew who I was anyways. Me being commissioner, and then, you know, working in the health department, so. Did that, Region 7, which I mentioned before, I think last time I was here, have the grant funded items. So we have the 15 orange barricades. They're located at the fairgrounds. If you're not familiar with those, they're the big orange barricades. Weigh about 100 pounds empty. They're 6 feet long by about 4 feet high. And you can use those, all entities know that they can use them whenever they want to for traffic control, whatever they want to do. You fill those up with sand or water. Obviously, if you use water in the wintertime, you have to use some agent so it doesn't freeze, but those are at their disposal. Also got 3 breaching kits. I originally got 2 and delivered one to the sheriff's department, and the city police department ended up winning another one at the Region 7 meeting I attended last week, because there was 3 extras. So I got my hat thrown in a draw, or my name thrown in a hat, and then we won. So I gave that to the city police department. Chief Hamp's super pumped about that. If you're not familiar with the breaching kit, it is a backpack that has bolt cutters, a halogen breaching tool, and a axe / sledgehammer, so they can breach into doors and not have to call, you know, basically the Michigan State Police to help them out get into a doorway. So that's good. Obviously, I'll continue to get more free stuff and distribute it to, you know, local entities if I can from Region 7. I received the Thunder Bay Dams Emergency Action Plan, the EAP, from Eagle Creek, and that's just basically just replace my name, or replace Kim's name with my name on that reports, or the EAP. So I'll be distributing that with all the binders and everything. So if you need to review it, please stop by my office or send me an email. I'll give it to you. So it's just an updated one, like I said, with my name on there. Invited to speak at the Rotary meeting on March 9th. To introduce myself, I know Chief Marceau was just there today. I couldn't make it because I was kind of going to make sure he didn't cover the same things I'm going to cover. But I looked at his presentation. It was pretty good. So I'm going to try to pitch Code Red when I'm there. And obviously more preparedness tips, which I know Chief Marceau also covered, but that's good to reiterate that stuff, especially this time of year. And then Also registered to be a certified, to be certified to be a professional emergency manager, which is PEM. It's the PEM certification. Looking at the checklist, I just have to do the in-person trainings next year. So that's a really good qualification to have if you're in emergency management. And so I'll be attending a couple trainings in person next year to get that certification. So that's pretty cool. MEDC will be having a meeting to discuss. There's 200,000 that is going to go to Montmorency County to distribute to all of our counties. Food banks, I have the list here. I was given this when I walked into Region 7 by Sarah Melching, and I passed this around. There will be one. That money is going to go back to the highlighted one, Alpena. Apparently Courtney Holmes, which I actually just talked to today, she stopped by my office I gave her some certificates of appreciation from the county for the ice storm, all the work that they did. And I guess she was working on that. Sarah Melching took over. Like I said, I got past that since I walked in the Region 7 meeting, and then I did some research, and here we are. So from my understanding, it's going to go to Montmorency County. I'll have to get the commissioner's approval to distribute those funds to those entities, and then we'll kind of go from there. But we're still meeting on it. I will keep you informed on that. Then we'll go from there when I find out a little more.
What funds are going to Montmorency?
It was supposed to go to Courtney at the entity she was at the Michigan Bank. So they originally were supposed to get the money and then distributed. But I guess Sarah Melching kind of took over with it, and then it's going to Montmorency County for them to distribute the funds.
Okay.
I was just literally emailed them this morning about it, so I was like, oh, okay.
Feel bad.
Yes. And I know, Jesse, do you want me to talk about the emergency manager vehicle? Or
You could probably touch base on it just so everybody's aware.
Okay. As you know, we had the emergency management vehicle in the shop. Obviously, it's not getting used, so I talked to Jesse and Commissioner Kozlowski about it. So, the vehicle needs to be drove. I know there was an issue with taking it home and using it and stuff. So I wrote a memorandum, which I sent to Jesse. I just want to touch base on it, because I'll probably actually present it at the next meeting here to go from there. But like I said, it needs to be drove. I know Roy took it today, and I drive it maybe twice a week. So if you don't know about vehicles, the longer it sits, the more issues we're going to have. And just going back on the statements, there's tire sensors that we just replaced. We had those tire sensors replaced last year just from it sitting there. So like I said, when that memo gets up to par, then I'll definitely present on that the next meeting we have, so we can discuss further usage of it.
Okay.
So
That's good.
any questions? Comments?
Nope. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I receive and file the
I'll
report?
make. I'll support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so then we'll take the next three, the ambulance fund monthly report. That's just all the funding. You already gave yourself the medical examiner and the veterans affairs. I'll take a motion to receive and file all three.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll support.
okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I guess we're at the point where we're gonna do the security issues. So,
I'm sure, I think we have one of the attorneys, Christy Van Massenhoff should be on. I don't know if you want to bring her up on the screen. She's the only one participating virtually. She's not feeling well, so she chose to join from home.
okay. Okay. Well, I had attended the security meeting. I forget what the acronym is called, at the court here.
Court security?
Well, yeah, court security, well, but it's got an acronym.
Scale,
Scale?
scale, they require us to hold security meetings within the area 4 times a year.
So,
Judge Curtis oversees that.
okay. So the Judge Curtis said that, yes, the issue, it has been brought up, multiple times, and it is serious, and it's a serious issue. So when I talked to Deputy Lash, he said that there are different alternatives. I'm not trying, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm not that familiar with how the courts work, but I know we've got the 3 courts and they're all vulnerable. So far, I think they've locked up the back doors for these 2 buildings, but they're looking for security for these 2 buildings and the building across the street. So when we talk metal detectors, okay, you've got the initial cost. They're not exorbitantly expensive. Then you're talking staffing. That is the problem. And it's money and it's funding. So it's finding a way to do something. The other thing that was mentioned was developing an entrance from the basement here. That would be a single entrance, which to me, kind of, I don't know, I think that we should maybe look into it, because once you do it, you're going to talk about, I'm thinking just off the wall, like you're maybe $1 million to do that. So, so first you would need to know the capability of being able to get to it. But once it's done and you have an established entrance, I think, to me, I don't know, you have to pursue funding. You have to pursue funding. So we have to decide, what do you want to do? One way, we should do something and look at grants. I don't know, I'm not that familiar with grants. And so funding, when you're funding is, you've got to go out and pursue alternative funding, because then to get something new, you don't want to take away from your existing funding because they're bare bones right now. So is there any input from the?
I would love to give some input. Dan Thorpe, again, I was the one who wrote you the letter.
Yeah.
My law firm wrote you the letter. In no particular order, some various points I'd like to make here. 90% plus of the counties in the state have figured out how to do this. And they've been doing it for 20+ years. I've been an attorney now for 19. In year 2 of my practice, I had a week-long trial down in Mount Pleasant. And it was 2 uniformed officers with a metal detector at the front of the courthouse door every day, all day. I mentioned in the letter that I wrote to you folks, our gold standard of, what we would like to see for security, and that being one entrance to a courthouse, a double door entrance with a metal detector in between and a uniformed guard buzzing you in. That's the case in Isabella County. No, I'm sorry, Emmett County and Sheboygan counties have those. What's the difference between them and you guys? They've got twice your annual budget and they're running multi-million-dollar surpluses because they're vacation communities with people paying lots and lots of taxes. Like I said, that's the gold standard. There's everything in between in this state, and 90% of the state has figured out how to do it with budgets that are a whole lot less friendly than they have in Emmett County and Sheboygan counties. We do have the unique problem here of the 3 different courthouse buildings. I kind of think of this as one building, but whatever. 3 different courthouse buildings. Honestly, some kind of basement entrance here doesn't help where you really need it, which is across the street where circuit court happens. Certainly we need it here as well. Unfortunately, I think like most of the planning done in the Alpena area between 1950 and 2000, building these buildings instead of one comprehensive court county building exhibited a breathtaking lack of foresight. Like a lot of the planning, as I said, in the Alpena area. But unfortunately, we're left with that problem now.
Well, because the annex, it was like 1990 when that was the last one that was.
Yeah,
So that was early.
And unfortunately, what should have happened at that time was one building with all of their courts in one spot, but that didn't happen. Probably because we've got this monolithic historic courthouse that nobody wanted to touch, and it would have been expensive, more expensive today, certainly. But the fact remains, we have families as attorneys, we have children, we have spouses. I'm not interested in dying for my career. I've come to the point now where I don't attend court in person anymore if I don't actually have to be there in person. I'm on Zoom. It's more convenient, but it's safer anyways. I've left court and had opposing parties follow me around town, even as I zigzagged my way around. I've had those people point guns at me in their cars. I've had people in probate court where you think this stuff wouldn't happen very often that worried my clients and me to the point where we've asked for extra courtroom security. Something's got to be done. Like I said, somehow or another, 90% of the state figures out how to pay for this.
Mhm.
Everybody's got stretched budgets.
Right. Well,
So my input on that, and you would know better than I do, because if you've gone to these places, but just what you described, metal detector, we have 3 buildings, if you had 2 officers at each entrance, we're talking close to $600,000 just for the personnel.
I don't think you need 2 at each entrance. I think you can do 1 at each entrance.
Well,
And I
even
think,
still,
and I think at the very least, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think at the very least, you can concentrate on circuit court across the street and expand as the funds are able, or you could have floating personnel and a floating metal detector to get you by until you've got the money. for
and
something.
we've talked about that as well, because the problem, and coming into that building, you'd have to build an extension on the back of the building to have an entrance, one central entrance point to come in, because you can't do it with what we already have. It's already in the building. So it's not only coming up, finding funds. I know I've seen the plans, or we've heard that they were going to, just with one of the bigger, other issues that we have over there is handicap accessible. And I've seen plans that were drawn up years ago on what that would cost. And I know when that was originally done, how many millions of dollars it was probably back then, which now it's probably even, easily tripled or whatever. And unfortunately, I'm not opposed to this, but I guess I'd like to find out how these other communities that have these, and again, they're all probably a little bit different, how they're designed to be able to get the access into it. Again, going back to the main courthouse, we do have 2 entrance points. We could lock the front one. Most of the people come through the back door, if you will. The cost of that even probably is, I would easily anywhere between $800,000 to $1 million, just probably to figure out some way to put that metal detector in, and the extension on the back of the building. And then we run into, because we already know with the historic nature of that building, and I don't know who would approve that or how it's approved, but trying to figure that out. So I'd be interested, I guess, trying to find out some of these other places that you've gone to and experienced. I know that this has been years. I went to a court proceeding. I can't even remember what it was, maybe county. And in order to get into that building, that courthouse, you go through just what you said. You come into an area, and there's I guess a place, you can't even take purses in there. There's like a box that you can put your stuff into, and then you go through the metal detector. And at that time, they had 2 officers at the entrance point to check people as they come in. So,
I think what those buildings generally have in common is they're much newer courthouses.
well, I was gonna say, that definitely is a lot newer.
Yeah.
That one was.
Isabella County in particular, Mount Pleasant, man, they've got a cheap as hell courthouse down there. They built it, it was brand new when I had that trial that I mentioned 18 years ago or so, and they did it on the absolute dirt cheap. The finishes were really low quality all the way around. But they had a new comprehensive county building, all of their courts together. They've got multiple judges down there at each level. It was a matter of deciding, hey, we're gonna build a new building that we need.
Well, what I'd like to do is visit a couple of the courthouses to check, their systems. I thought of going up to Sheboygan. You said Alcona.
So Alcona County, they don't have much, but they've got more than Alpena. Alcona County, when you go in, your face is on camera and they take a picture of you and you sign in for what you're there for and they buzz you in. It's not much, but it's something. The other one I mentioned was Emmett County, Petoskey.
How long of a history of these courts having these? Do you go back 20 years, 10 years?
Oh, it's at least 20, like I say, it was
At least
18 years ago when I first.
20 years?
Something like that, and Isabella as a new attorney. So it goes back farther than that. As I mentioned in the letter we wrote you too, the courts in the big cities downstate, it's not just that system, it's multiple uniformed officers, which, I mean, that's, as you said, that gets way up there as far as the ongoing cost of it, but this is not new. This is new to Northeast Michigan where we're behind the times in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Montmorency has nothing, Presque has nothing. Kind of a pocket of nothing up here.
I've been up to Presque. They have like I don't know if it's their courthouse, I believe it is. When you walk in one of the doors, there's like a mobile kind of, and we used to have something out here.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, they have the same thing you guys used to have here for, I think it was once in a while when it was
Yeah,
juvenile court or something, when there was something going on.
which kind of, I don't know, unless they were just checking everybody to walk through to make sure that they didn't have anything, but I always thought that was kind of ironic to have it towards the end of the hallway here, and you didn't have to walk through it, you could walk to the side,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I think it's up in Presque, it's just sitting there and they use it when they think they need it. And funnel everybody through it. I've never actually seen them use it up there, but I don't go to court very often. I'm generally a paper pusher.
So when you go to court, and this is kind of like a naive question because I've never, so you can bring a whole entourage with you? Like say I go to court and is there a limit of how many people can come in with a?
It's a completely public
Open to the
proceeding.
public. So you can come in and out of the courts as much as you want all day long.
Wow, okay.
And, to me, the big thing is there's no one checking for weapons at all. There's a uniformed bailiff in most cases when court is in session, sheriff's deputy. But aside from looking out in the gallery and telling usually ladies, hey, you got to take your purse out to your car. There's no checking. I've got a staff member, one of our assistants at the office, who is always carrying a concealed weapon on her 24/7 at the office. When she goes up to court to run errands, she has to leave it in her car or at the office or wherever. And she mentioned a couple months ago, I don't know why I leave it in the car or in the office. I can walk in, nobody knows I've got it. That could be anybody. Anybody could take it.
Face is bad,
I would
very.
strongly suggest you not do that.
Well, she's smart enough not to, but no, anybody could carry anything in. There's no checking for anything.
All I can think of the way to proceed is to look at funding is at grants. I'm not familiar with
I think
grants.
the first thing is we'd have to figure out what
What exactly?
we need to do, can do. Because we have 3 courthouses ultimately, the best thing to do is build a bigger, brand new one someplace that you could have all that in one building.
It's
But
like a feasibility study would probably be the first step to see what needs to be done and how much it would cost.
So and one of the things Lucille was talking about, I've been in this court security position now for over 2 years. From day one that I started in the spot, first thing that we talked about security. When I first started, we had like 20 cameras. We've invested in those cameras. So at least if there is an incident now, I can at least investigate it, which comes in handy. That is a reactive though. It's not a proactive approach.
Mhm.
Metal detectors are obviously the proactive.
Proactive, yeah.
So in a perfect world, if you guys had an endless pot of money, we would destroy all 3 of these buildings. We'd build a nice, beautiful courthouse across the street. It'd house all of the stuff. The bottom floor would be your security checkpoint. You have the court security division. So that would encompass all your bailiffs and your monitors for the day. And then you can make a big parking structure right here where we're at. And
Well, I'd correct you.
Problem.
I'd make a correction to that. I would tear down all these buildings and build a brand new one over here.
Sure.
Because that one's a supposedly historic building.
Yeah.
So,
So either way, option two is what Lucille was talking about. The sheriff and I kind of discussed some of the issues that we've seen around here. So you have ADA compliant issues. You have people that are handicapped trying to get over to district court. They have to park over in this parking lot and then traverse a very long sidewalk to get to district court. Where if you actually made an entrance about halfway into this building, you go then down into the basement, which would be your security checkpoint. So you would go in, it would look just like, kind of like going to an airport. You would flow in, there'd be a checkpoint. We have a sterile area. You'd go through the monitors, you'd be checked by one or two people. And at that point, once you've gone through that area, you would either come up to this level for family court, or you traverse. A lot of people don't realize these two buildings are connected by a stairwell. If you move that stairwell to where my current office is over in district court, it would be a direct shot. You could just go straight through, you'd have ADA compliant, or you could do a ramp right up to the district court hallway or stairwell, either way. You could also tie in the elevator for access up to this court as well. How much that would cost? That's a good question. I will tell you, there is nobody in the basement right now. So if you were to make those adjustments, you're not really affecting anybody because there's nobody down there.
is you said the basement level goes directly into that?
Correct. There's a stairwell that connects these two buildings together.
Where?
It is, if you come out of district court, it's almost directly across from the courtroom.
Do you know if there's any plans for this building?
Stairwell?
Correct.
So it goes down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it goes to our basement in this building.
Do you know if you'd be able to find any blueprints or any plans of?
I have them.
You do?
Yeah.
There you go. There's a first step.
So
Well, the only problem,
that would alleviate these two.
Yeah.
So district court here is a Monday through Friday operation. So you're gonna have to have somebody Monday through Friday, anytime this courthouse is open. This courthouse, court is not Monday through Friday.
That's what I was wondering.
But you do have the conservator's office, which is Monday through Friday, in front of the court, which is Monday through Friday. So
the other problem with that too, well, I guess, well, you still, if there was central point coming in, how would you get up? How would someone ADA be able to get up to that level?
So if you eliminate the office that I'm in right now and create that as your stairwell, you could have a ramp and a stairwell. That office is wide enough for that. My belief. Now, I'm not a contractor.
When you say ramp though, what's the ramp?
To be ADA compliant. So you'd have a ramp that would go up, because I believe it's a 1 story between where you would come in on the basement level here to district court would be a story up. And I can't say that that's 100%. It's gotta be pretty close to it though.
Well, I wanted to visit a couple of like counties like just Sheboygan and someone else and then find out, talk to somebody, but it's kind of like you don't want to go into the courthouse, say, okay, I just want to look at your system, but I also would like to find out who would I talk to if I want to find out, how did you go about getting this? Did you, budget for it? How long ago did you do it? So I don't know if that's like a treasurer's office or a sheriff's office or, I don't just show up there and just.
A lot of the problems you're gonna run into, a lot of the courthouses that we're talking about today are one courthouse. I'm
Yeah,
originally
that's the
from
thing.
Genesee.
Yeah,
Genesee County is my gold standard.
yeah.
Oakland County is my gold standard. There's two people with the metal detector, there's bags there. You're not allowed to bring a person. My suggestion to you is not to have a locker system, because that's the easiest. If I wanted to hide a bomb, that's right where I put it.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want people to come in, no bags, no purses, no backpacks. Come in through a metal detector, we clear their person, and then they can mosey on around. You're still gonna have people that are observing movements in that courthouse as well.
So do you want to help on a feasibility study?
I think I'm already on there.
I think so.
Daniel, when you go to the Alcona courthouse and they have that camera that scans you, do you know, is it tied to a system that alerts them like a database or?
I'm not sure.
No, okay, I've been there before and
It's kind of a Mickey Mouse deal.
it's kind of
I'm not-
weird.
I'm not sure what it really does aside from letting them know who was in there if there was an incident.
It's almost identical to what the school said.
Okay,
So
so,
it goes to a little monitor, you can see that individual on there, it's some phone number reporting, and you could buy a Ring camera that does the same thing.
okay, I mean, because I visited that courthouse in my former job, that's where Sue would do her office hours every month. So I'd go once a month there. You'd have to go through the scan system and stuff. I just didn't know if there's like a thing that like if it identified a name, you know, can enter names and where.
To run your driver's license photo or anything like that.
Okay,
And honestly, if there's someone coming out when you're coming in, you just bypass it anyways.
okay.
The biggest expense that you have is employees. So the third option that I talked to Lucille about is I can get you metal detectors for Pride.
Yeah.
$20,000. And put them in this courthouse, district court and circuit
I
court.
wonder if Ritter can find some.
What's that?
I already tried that.
Did you? Okay.
So an average metal detector that we need somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000.
Okay, that's reasonable.
If you get into the mobile ones, you actually are gonna pay a little bit more, like what the military uses. But for what we're trying to intend them for.
Okay,
So we have a metal detector. The problem with that is it's only 30 inches on the inside.
okay.
So it's not ADA compliant. So, my intention was to put it into district court. But once I found out it was 30 inches, it's pointless. I can't.
We could use it in circuit court since you pretty much can't make it up the steps in a wheelchair anyway. I mean, you can, but
You could, but
usually we move it if it's,
Right.
so.
I mean, if we're gonna put a metal detector, we need it by the door. But the employees are a cost. I mean,
Yeah.
so we have 4 part-time bailiffs and myself at the courthouse. You're gonna have to double that to run metal detectors. We could do it with 1 at each metal detector because I'm technically afloat and I'm constantly floating around here. But you still couldn't pull them out of the courtroom.
Well, and you can't just lock the doors once everyone's in. So that person is gonna have to be dedicated 100% to sitting at the door.
Correct.
And so that's where I was saying it's easily, if you got 3 metal detectors, it's easily, and I know it's not just all pay, but you know, all the costs that go into an employee is close to $100,000.
Right, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, I know that the judge had kind of implied that it gets talked and then it gets left. And so, I don't know how we're able to do, how quickly we can do this, but I'd like to stay on it and maybe do the study and maybe go to a couple of courthouses, see if I can get some information and report. The next meeting is probably going to be a slow process. Any ideas, any suggestions? I mean, that's all I can think of right now.
County needs a grant writer.
Yeah, I'm limited on grants, but I'll learn.
Where would the most, well, okay. The other issue is even if we were to open up the basement and then we have the steps,
Mhm,
how do we make that,
mhm.
you know?
You're talking.
I think we
Yeah.
might be able to get, I mean, because it wouldn't be a full story, I don't think. Would it be similar to if we got something similar to what the library has, just that small lift between the half floor or whatever?
Oh,
If we were to get something like that, do you think might be?
I mean, we can go, if you guys wanna, I'm here every day.
I can find out what that one costs. I know where I find out what that one.
Okay.
We go around and I can kind of show you what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with the staircase between the two. I'm just wondering, again, even with the staircase, we'd still have to make it ADA compliant between the two here. And then you'd be able to just have your one entrance, like you said.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, so.
okay. So I'd like to stay on it if anybody wants to work with me, and I'm gonna do some field trips and kind of put together what I can.
Got one more question for the deputy. Curious, we've got a uniform bailiff in court. just for the time for every court hearing. As a stopgap measure, I know you guys have the handheld wands. Is it possible to start instituting a system of, hey, everybody gets wanded as they're going into the courtroom?
We could, it's tough to do. We've done that before on high profile cases, so, right now in the current spot that I'm in, if there is any contentious hearings, those are typically, but that's where I interject myself into it, to where the bailiff is still maintaining the court. It would be cool to have another me. Where
In so
that
many ways.
individual, right, could float around and then we would have more capability with that. But you're just putting a Band-Aid on the issue.
Oh, yeah, just, that would simply be a stopgap, until some.
Well, as you kind of indicated, you can come and go during court all day long, so, you know, there would be another, again, going back to another person dedicated to standing at the door, checking people as they were coming in each time that they walked in and out of the door.
Do
You
you
wanna
think
see what court looks like? Come here tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
tomorrow? Oh, I can't.
People for arraignment.
What is that
District
district?
court is gonna be a zoo tomorrow morning.
Is
So,
that an unusual case or is that normal?
no, every Tuesday is arraignment day in district court. It's just-
Every Tuesday?
Yeah, it's just
Tuesday?
very
Okay.
heavy this week.
And we do monitor cameras in central dispatch, but again, we're busy doing our own job a lot of the time, so it's not like we're sitting there staring at them. But we do know when there's big stuff happening in court, the bailiffs will call us and be like, hey, we had such thing happen. We'll pull it up and try to monitor it as best we can. But again, that's another stopgap.
Do you think that if there's knowledge that there is metal detectors and being monitored, does that people aren't gonna crowd going to cases or?
No, it doesn't stop the.
It doesn't stop anybody,
I will
no.
tell you, since we've had the court security position, we've had a lot less tempers in the hallway. Emotions don't run as high as they used to. We used to get, when I worked the road and was working day shift, we had called to the courts all the time for unruly people. Does not happen anymore. We still have, Dan's right on the money. I could pull pocket knives off of people every day. We've had people come to the court with firearms. We've had people come to the court with empty holsters. One of my drug testers came in with a fake pistol in his crotch. I can run the list of
Yeah.
incidents we've had.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I'm sorry, just so.
Right.
Was he trying to trigger you to like react to it or?
His defense, so you were talking about a meth user, a known meth user.
Oh, okay.
Some mental
That's
health
all you have to say,
issues,
okay.
and
Yeah.
he said that gun's for protection.
Yeah, okay.
It's blasting.
Do you know what I saw? You know what I saw in the news the other day? They were showing that, in the courts of that, I don't know, that Charlie Kirk murder was on court and they had the cameras and there's a National Guard guy.
I heard
National
that
Guard.
same story.
Huh? I told you.
If you,
He was, I saw the camera, I saw the bailiff and then the camera briefly there and there was an Air National Guard guy.
if you look back at the Shrubnik Wargo trial, we did the entire 2 week security for that.
Okay,
Encompassed the Aplex as well as the circuit court building, that we didn't have any road patrol that entire trial.
okay.
Person.
Well, I remember, I think you guys, there's some people, a couple deputies outside the building, is that you, Cash?
The undersheriff got assigned to that.
So it's JP and him.
Made the mistake of letting me help the schedule, so made sure that he's nice.
And so, and I don't want to be here with my hands out saying money, money, money either. I am happy to the extent that you want to have somebody not working for the county, do any kind of fact finding or figuring out information. I'm happy to volunteer.
Okay, that'll help.
Just tell me what you want me to figure out.
Deputy Lesh, if we were to do that, the connector between the annex, which entrance then would be the main one, the upper or the lower back door? The one with the elevator?
So if you did an entrance off the side here, this would be your main your main entrance, you would actually shut down the front entrances to both of these.
Okay,
To
And the-
Chisholm Street, and then you could keep back doors as employee entrance only.
got it. Okay.
But
This would be.
but here's the problem with that. So then how do you know that I didn't carry a weapon in if I'm not going through that central point? So,
True. And if somebody comes in through the main, they could just go let somebody in on the side door.
Absolutely.
but you can't lock those from people leaving because then we run the risk of a fire issue.
You gotta have. You can make them exit only.
Panic hardware.
It's not that difficult. There's some things that you can do to make those exit only.
Got an alarm on too.
The district court, employee entrance would obviously, that whole entire vestibule would need to be changed. So,
Well, I'll do some research because next couple of weeks, because we kind of have a free schedule and next month I'll call you I'm just gonna kind of see what we can do. I don't know if anybody else wants to.
Hopefully you'll be able to come back to the next meeting with, I found some funding and I figured out how to fix this.
I'll buy that $1 billion lotto ticket.
You know?
And just kind of bring it up, we'll put it on the agenda again and talk about it again and, don't contact Dan.
I appreciate the many other members of our bar association. I appreciate the committee's time and willingness to look at this seriously.
And I'll make sure I make the district court, because I know I've been asked I've heard that that's really an eye opener.
yeah, tomorrow's a good day to go observe any of the courts because it's, what I refer to as circus court over in circuit court, which is civil motion day. So it's divorce day. That's typically your most contentious days.
Do
An arraignment.
you have enough seating for everyone to get in there?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Just over 100 people for a jury selection. So
You have 100 seats in that district court?
no, I'm talking about circuit court.
Oh, so,
So not everybody that comes in tomorrow for arraignment will go into the actual courtroom. That hallway will be packed. If everybody shows up,
And that's every Tuesday.
every Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to Atlanta tomorrow. Okay.
I just think this has been talked about and dropped, the different boards, different administrators. So
well,
we'll get this taken care of.
Lucio made a promise to me that she wasn't going anywhere until he gets this fixed.
You guys could be heroes here.
Yeah, I'll try. I told the judge, I said I'll do my best. So, okay. Okay, I'm good.
I think we have enough to at least get started.
Kind of go to have where we could, it'll look like we're moving
We do
a
have,
little bit.
Van Madison Hope, did she have anything? Any comments?
I never saw her even come up on the,
I just want to.
Oh.
she's still there?
I
So-
am. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Yep.
yep. Just want to make sure we were including you if you had any comments or anything in addition.
I fully support what Mr. Florup mentioned to the board. I have myself experienced some kind of scary threats. And in fact, I'm having to talk to Deputy Lash on a more regular basis about some of the individuals I come across with. So I'm also offer my time if I can be an assistance, because this is a definite important matter to the bar.
So what I'll do, Chairwoman, is you and I can maybe meet a week before your next meeting. I can put together some notes, what we found beforehand, and then I'll send that out and we'll determine whether or not we need a meeting. Probably February is when you're meeting next, I would assume,
Oh,
after this meeting.
it should stay on that.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't?
Those, you just have to figure out who's
Yeah,
doing what.
okay.
So we'll get with everybody, but we'll send something out and we can kind of decide whether or not we need to do a follow-up
Yeah,
immediately or whether we skip a meeting to give us a little bit more time.
okay. But I have, I noticed that the next 2 weeks were pretty clear for me, so I'll kind of
It's Christmas.
do a little
You're
bit.
not celebrating Christmas?
I do. I don't have a big family. Okay, so if anybody else is okay? Can you take a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Support.
all in favor, aye.
Aye. Hey, Nick.